Welcome to Home Cooked Homework. This is first grade's digital homework. We're going to call it our digital diet. The only things that will be changing on the homework handout will be the due date listed at the top. The reminders will be updated, and on the back side, the spelling words will be updated pretty frequently as well. We'll go over the guidelines in a moment, but let's just touch base on the very first one. All homework assignments are due every other Friday. This gives your child 2 weeks to complete all of their homework. So make sure that you look at the due date at the very top of the page, and that is when their homework assignment is due. If they're not completing their homework, their teacher will start checking it daily. If it's still not completed, they'll have to do it at recess. This is not only to benefit your child, but it also goes toward their scores in the grade book. We do give out minor grades based off of their efforts, and we'll go over that in a moment. Each program that we're using for home cooked homework is based off of your child's needs. So whatever level your child is on in math or whatever level your child is on in reading, it's based off of what your child needs specifically. So they may have different assignments than other children. Just be aware that it's because they have different levels and needs. Let's go on to the digital diet. Again, this is a 2-week duration. They have 2 weeks to complete this. So there will be 8 helpings or servings of reading, 2 sides of math, 2 sides of language arts, 4 sides of spelling, and then dessert choices are available for extra credit points. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. So our reading entree, this is the meat of our plate. This is where we want our child to spend most of their time. So each night we want your student to make sure that they're reading up to 30 minutes of their 100 Book Challenge or independent reading books. You need to sign off 2 lines on their log to make sure that they get credit for their entree that night. They can read up to an hour, which would equal 4 lines. Just make sure that y'all are still signing the regular 100 Book Challenge or independent reading log each night. So Monday through Thursday, they'll need to read each and every night. Moving on to their math sides. Again, this is a 2-week duration. So by the end of the 2 weeks, they need to have 2 math assignments complete. That being said, it can be 2 math seed assignments. Just put your initials, parents, and their score. Or it can be 2 Odyssey math assignments. Just make sure when you go into Odyssey, you're actually choosing math. Then put your initials and score on both of those. Or it can be a combination of the 2. It can be math seeds, put your initials and score, and Odyssey math. Just make sure by the end of the 2 weeks, there are 2 math assignments completed. Language arts is the same concept. You'll have to choose one each week. So by the end of the 2 weeks, you'll have 2 language art assignments due. You can have 2 freckle assignments. Just make sure when you go into freckle that it goes along with language arts. Don't choose math. Make sure it goes along with language arts. Or you can choose 2 Odyssey reading. Make sure you don't choose math. Make sure it goes along with language arts. So make sure you can either choose 2 freckle or you can choose 2 Odyssey readings. Just make sure to put your initials and score, or you can do a combination of both. You can do 1 freckle assignment and 1 Odyssey reading. It doesn't matter, just as long as there's 2 assignments completed. Turn to the back. Don't forget the back side. This is spelling sides. This one's a little bit different. We're going to be using Spelling City to help your child with their spelling words. So the spelling sides, you need to choose 2 each week. There will be a total of 4 bi-weekly. So again, this is a 2-week duration. So it says you need to complete 2 entire games and 2 spelling tests. So on September, let's for example say the first set of words is September 17th through the 21st. So these 8 words will need to be typed into Spelling City, and if your child's teacher has had access to Spelling City, they have already taught them how to do this. Hopefully that's the case. But if not, all you have to do is go into Spelling City, type the words in, and once the words are inserted for that week, all these games and tests will pop up. For this week's words, you need to complete 1 game. You can do more than one game, but you need to complete one game. Parents put your initials and the score that they made on that game. After they complete all of their practice for that week's words, they need to do the test. You need to put your initials and the score that they made. This is not the actual test that will go in the grade book. This is just for practice. So for that week's words, they need to do a game and a test. Then the following week, which for this example would be September 24th through the 28th, they would need to type in these new 8 words into Spelling City. They would need to complete a game, put your initials in the score. They could complete more than one game, that's fine, but one is required. And at the end of it, they need to complete a test. Again, it's just a practice test. Put your initials and score. All of this is just for your child's needs. So let's say, for example, and this goes for math sides, language arts sides, and spelling sides. Let's say, for example, they went to Spelling City, completed a game, and they made a 60. Well, the teacher's going to go in, they're going to make sure that that's the score that they made. They're going to look to see how long it took them. If they made a 60 and they only took 3 minutes to complete the assignment, they're obviously not going to make a great grade because they didn't put forth their best effort. So make sure that your child is actually doing their very best work. If they made a 60 and tried it for 30 minutes, they're going to make 100 because we can see the process that they took to try their very best. This is just for extra practice, and we want them to do their very best in order to receive the help that all children need in order to succeed. This at the bottom is dessert. This is where most parents and students really like our home cooked homework. In order to receive any kind of extra credit points, your child has to complete their meat and their sides first, just like any meal. So make sure that all the homework is completed before you think that you're getting extra credit points. So let's say all of your homework's done, your child needs extra help in math. Well, they can do a math seeds assignment and get 2 extra points on their lowest test grade at the end of the 9 weeks. There's also reading eggs they could do for reading. Odyssey, you can either choose reading or math. And Spelling City can go toward their language arts. You can choose all of these. That's fine. It's totally up to you and your child and what they need and what y'all want to do and complete as far as dessert goes. You don't have to do any of the dessert, but who doesn't like dessert? So let's say, for example, your child was really struggling in math and needed extra help and extra credit points. So there's 9 weeks. So homework is given out every 2 weeks. So they could possibly have 3 or 4 homework sheets throughout that whole entire 9 weeks. So 2 times 4 is 8. So they needed help with their math. So each time they completed all their homework, plus they completed a math seeds assignment, and they got 2 points each time. So that could possibly give them 8 extra points on their lowest test score in math for that 9 weeks. That could possibly pull them up a whole entire letter grade. So make sure you are taking advantage of the dessert, and it will help your child too, not just because it's fun and it'll pull their grade up, but it will help them tremendously understand what we're learning in class as well. If there are any questions, please ask your teacher, your child's teacher. We hope you enjoy home cooked homework as much as we do. And I know that your child loves these programs, so we hope that you enjoy it as much as they do as well. Have fun.